So how are people, say, in a democracy supposed to make the right decision if they don't have the right information? If they're being misled or important information is being withheld, which obviously was the case, in the infamous Hunter Biden laptop situation. So effectively, Twitter and frankly, Google and YouTube and whatnot, Facebook, they put their thumb on the scale of elections worldwide, and they have done for some time. Effectively, what they're saying is they want the public to be misled and uninformed of all sides of the issue. That's obviously morally wrong. Freedom of speech is currently costing about $2 billion a year. So this is a lot.
Just on Twitter.
And lost revenue, it's right now, roughly $2 billion a year. Media is going to give you generally the dramatized Cliff Notes version of reality. You will absolutely be happier if you have kids. Absolutely. We've evolved to have that, as all creatures have.
The one thing that does concern me, and I know concerns a lot of people out there, so I do have to bring it up, which is Neuralink.
Sure.
So firstly, can you explain what Neuralink is and what the goal of it is?
We put a chip in your brain to control your mind. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Concerns not alleviated.
Yeah, there you go. Jump right in. Step right up. Who wants one? The sheer amount of effort the cortexes have of all the humans have put into trying to get laid is insane. So I think we'll put even more computing power into trying to get laid, basically. Now the AI is going to help you get laid.
In this video, I've put together a few key highlights from Zuby's awesome interview with Elon Musk. Check the link in the pinned comment to watch the full original only on Twitter. The highlights featured in this video include Twitter, the Everything app, big tech election interference, censorship, and some thoughts on free speech, the fake news, humanity's greatest threat, the importance of having kids, Elon Musk's sad childhood, why some people aren't happy, Neuralink, the human brain, and getting laid. And quick heads up, I dropped another exclusive video on Patreon today. Toyota absolutely desperate to go bankrupt. Can't make this stuff up. Check out the link in the pinned comment if you're not a member. Otherwise, you know where to find it.
But we still want to rapidly improve the product, especially on the video side. And there's a lot of great things that are going to come out. Obviously, payments down the road, maybe later this year, and improving the direct message stuff. Obviously, enabling full encryption and video and voice calls, and just basically solving. If there's something you want to do, you can do it on this sort of X everything app.
What was the biggest impetus to buying Twitter? What was the thing that made you want to do that?
Well, like I said, there is a sort of for a long time I wanted to do sort of the create X core, and so that was one element of it. I also thought that I was growing increasingly concerned that there was a lack of freedom of speech and freedom of expression, and that there was a lot of censorship, and a lot of censorship some of it was obvious, a lot of it was hidden. Yeah. And I thought that was really unhealthy for public discourse. So how are people, say, in a democracy supposed to make the right decision if they don't have the right information? If they're being misled or important information is being withheld, which obviously was the case, in the infamous Hunter Biden laptop situation. Everyone knows about that, but there are thousands of other smaller situations like that. So effectively, Twitter and frankly, Google and YouTube and whatnot, Facebook, they put their thumb on the scale of elections worldwide, and they have done for some time. So, and a lot of times it's so subtle you don't even really notice it. Frankly, Google's might be the most pernicious in that it's very easy for them to just slightly derank a search. So it's on page like 4 or 5 if you're looking for something, and nobody ever goes there. So it's not gone. It's just not on page 1.
Yep.
And the old joke used to be that what's the best place to hide a dead body would be the second page of Google search results. Nobody ever goes there.
Yeah.
So I think in order to have a solid bedrock for democracy, and frankly, even if a country's not strictly speaking a democracy, it's still good for the people to know what's going on.
Yeah.
We have to have at least one platform that you can count on. That is maximum truth seeking, and that's what the goal is here with X/Twitter is maximum truth seeking, really allowing all voices to be heard. I mean, unless someone's doing something like just flat out illegal, then they should be allowed to say what they want to say. And free speech is only relevant if it if we allow people that you don't like to say things you don't like.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it loses all meaning. And at least in the U.S., like the First Amendment is pointless. And if you don't let people you don't like say things that they don't like, and you censor them, it's only a matter of time before that censorship is turned upon you.
Yeah.
So that was the essential wisdom in the First Amendment. And so you can kind of tell that it's working if you see people that you don't like saying you don't like. That's a good sign, actually.
Yeah. Something I found incredibly interesting, for example, when you bought Twitter, was that people were not afraid that they would be censored, but they were afraid that their opposition, especially people more on the right side of the aisle, would not be censored. They were afraid of the freedom of speech aspect. So how did we get there?
I think that people like that should really look at themselves in the mirror and say, like, what are you actually asking here? You want censorship? You want things to be, you want information to be withheld from the public, even though it's fully legal? Mm-hmm. Effectively, what they're saying is they want the public to be misled and uninformed of all sides of the issue. That's obviously morally wrong. But you have the situation where basically all the social media companies are based in the Bay Area, or I guess if you add Snap, it's LA, but the most influential ones are all in the Bay Area. So they have a very sort of far left position, especially in San Francisco. I mean, it doesn't get more far left than San Francisco, Berkeley. It's like,
I was exploring the city today, and I noticed that. I felt that.
Yeah, I mean, you can see like there's some pretty rough parts of the city. Mm-hmm. People sometimes say, "Oh, you must be exaggerating." I'm like, you just come to downtown SF on any random day.
Yeah,
it's the same thing, and it's like Mad Max Walking Dead situation.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's like you can't believe it. Freedom of speech is currently costing about $2 billion a year. So this is a lot.
Just on Twitter.
And lost revenue, it's right now, roughly $2 billion a year. Media is going to give you generally the dramatized Cliff Notes version of reality. Because if they give you the full thing, it's too complicated and it's going to bore people. And if they really give it too much balance, it really doesn't have enough controversy to get the click. This is the incentive structure, and so whatever you incent will happen. So the legacy media have had to deal with a shrinking advertising pie for a long time because Google and Facebook and whatnot have taken so much of the advertising revenue. Well, it's been a struggle for the traditional media.
Yeah.
So that they've been forced to be click maximizing machines or die.
What do you think is the greatest threat to humanity?
Well, I think digital superintelligence is a real concern. Mm-hmm. Now, I think that digital superintelligence, or artificial general intelligence, as it's called sometimes or mostly, is more likely to be good than bad. But it's just that the probability of a bad outcome is not zero. And I think probably the more we worry about a bad outcome, the less likely it is to occur.
Okay.
So I think we should be, just say like, let's try to steer the AI in a good direction. You will absolutely be happier if you have kids. Absolutely. We've evolved to have that, as all creatures have. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can take, say, I don't know, an alley cat or something, or a bobcat, like some like wild creature that would normally be quite fierce and unfriendly, mm-hmm. And like kill or eat anything it came across. But the moment it has, cubs or puppies or whatever, or kittens, it becomes that becomes loving mom. Mm-hmm. So like the cat that was really mean is like taking care of its little kittens. It's instinct. It's
yes.
like, it's genetic programming. So people should really expect that if they have kids, they will improve their quality of life, not make it worse.
You've got a lot of kids?
Yeah, I'm trying to set a good example.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How has having kids made your life better? How does it make you happier? And how does it motivate and drive the things that you're doing?
I mean, I don't know. It's like, I think it's normal to love your kids. It's just kind of an automatic thing. And they've got this little creature that's depending on you to take care of it. And it's very rewarding to do so, mm-hmm. I think, inherently. They're a lot of fun. But I don't know. You love them. They love you. It's great.
Do you find being a father is a driver? Is that a particular driver and motivator for the way you think and the things the things that you're not trying to do, the things you are doing?
I think it does motivate me to, want to make sure that the future is going to be good for my kids, and I had kind of like I wouldn't say I really mostly sad and unhappy childhood. Actually, it wasn't 100% bad, but it was pretty rough. And I lived in South Africa until I was 17, and then I was able to get Canadian citizenship through my mom because she was born in Canada.
Okay.
And so I was like, well, I left when I was 17. I think my views of South Africa are somewhat scarred by kind of a negative childhood experience, like literally scars.
Yeah.
I have literally quite a few scars. It was tough. So there's certainly plenty of good things about the country, but my particular experience was not that great. So,
I hear that.
Yeah. Our quality of life basically is so dramatically better than the past. You have to say, well, why aren't we happy? It's because, or sometimes why a lot of people aren't happy is that we just keep recalibrating. We keep setting our expectations higher. We keep moving the goalpost.
Yeah.
So, keep moving the goalpost, keep recalibrating, then you just naturally will always be wanting things to be better than in the past. It's kind of like our, as the saying goes, like happiness is reality minus expectations.
Mm-hmm.
But if our expectations keep rising, then reality has to keep rising too. And so overall, I think people should be more optimistic about the future, and I think should recognize that our life today is vastly better than it was in times past. That actually violence on average is much lower than it used to be.
Oh yeah.
War is rare.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have war in Ukraine, but it used to be like there would be war everywhere.
Yeah. Even just look at the past century.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy.
Well, last century was insane.
Yeah. Tell me more about so I'll be honest, of all the things you do and all the companies you run, I think it's all awesome. The one thing that does concern me, and I know concerns a lot of people out there, so I do have to bring it up, which is Neuralink.
Sure.
So firstly, can you explain what Neuralink is and what the goal of it is?
We put a chip in your brain to control your mind. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Concerns not alleviated.
Yeah, there you go. Jump right in. Step right up. Who wants one? So Neuralink, you'll be able to see Neuralink coming from a very long distance, because any device that you implant in a human you have to go through so many tests. It moves very slowly. You just do a few people at a time, and then you go to extreme lengths to prove safety. You have to go through the FDA approvals. Like, we're not trying to sidestep any, regulatory approvals. We're doing everything, by the book and with maximum. We're going far beyond what the requirements are of the FDA from a safety standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And the initial devices will really just be pretty basic. It'll be about restoring functionality to people who've lost their connection between their brain and their body. So you can imagine, like, if, say, Stephen Hawking could talk or communicate as fast as somebody with a fully functioning body.
Mm-hmm.
That would be amazing. So that's like what we're trying to do. That's our first application, is to restore functionality to quadriplegics, tetraplegics, and people who have just, for whatever reason, no longer have a connection between, or have a limited connection between their brain and their body.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second application would be restoration of eyesight. So if somebody's gone completely blind, maybe even has lost the optic nerve, you can actually still directly stimulate the neurons in the visual part of the cortex. So you can give direct vision to the brain.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, you could actually, depending upon what cameras you use, you could actually see in different wavelengths.
Okay.
Geordie LaForge from, you could have that, I actually watched an episode of Star Trek Next Generation with special effects compared to what we're used to are not that great, but he's got the wraparound, glasses, and he can see in different wavelengths. So you can see ultraviolet, infrared, and that kind of thing. So you can actually do that. You could say you could see in radar if you want.
Mm.
Well, I mean, the thing I wanted to emphasize is that it's not going to sort of pounce on us overnight.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see it coming. It's going to be very slow. In fact, I really think that artificial general intelligence or digital superintelligence is likely to arrive before we have really advanced neural links. At least that's where the trend is right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, but ultimately, the idea would be to achieve a symbiosis between our biological mind and our kind of digital mind. So we're already kind of a cyborg if you think of like your phone and your computers as an extension of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, like if you leave your phone behind, it's like you have missing limb syndrome. You're like, where did it go? So the phone is a kind of an extension of ourselves. Like computer is. The various applications that we use are already an extension of self. So we are already a cyborg. It's just that the interface is with our eyes and our fingers.
Yeah.
And that interface, especially output, the rate at which we can type words into a phone or a computer, it's very slow. Our input is much better because with the data rate from vision is, I don't know, many thousands of times, maybe 1 million times better than the rate at which we can output. So input is like maybe, I don't know, roughly 1 million times better than output. And so what a Neuralink device can do is improve that bandwidth, allow you to be sort of much more symbiotic with the AI extension of yourself. Mm. So you can think of like a human brain really could be arguably divided into two parts. One is kind of like the primitive brain, the reptile brain, it's sometimes called. It's like a sort of basic instincts, and then we've got the cortex, like the higher level thinking, planning, and that kind of thing. But the two operate symbiotically. So I haven't yet met anyone who wants to delete their limbic system or delete their cortex. Everyone's quite happy having both.
Yeah,
they're like, I like it the way it is, But your cortex is way smarter than your limbic system. But the irony is that even though the cortex is way smarter than the limbic system, most of what it's doing is trying to make the limbic system happy. It's like limbic system's hungry. Okay, let's get some food. Mm-hmm. The limbic system is horny. Okay, let's have sex or whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, the sheer amount of effort the cortexes of all the humans have put into trying to get laid is insane.
That's got to keep the species going.
Yeah, but not even if it's not for procreation. Like the limbic system is really like too simple to understand that like sex does not result in procreation, because for almost all of human existence that it did. Birth control is a very recent thing. The limbic system is like trying to incent procreation, and but now we can effectively hack the limbic system by doing procreation, but by having sex without procreation. Mm-hmm. Which is, I guess, maybe part of the issue with, why do we have more kids? Is like in the past, it would just happen because, in order to make your limbic system happy, you'd have sex. You didn't have birth control, so if you'd pop out some kids.
Yes.
So that's how it used to be. So even though you've got a cortex that's way smarter than the limbic system, the cortex is still basically just trying to make the limbic system happy. And then if you think of like the computers as a sort of a third layer, the AI is a third layer, it's not necessarily the case that the AI would be acting contrary to our interests. I think if it's closely linked with our biological intelligence, I think it could actually be just simply, again, trying to make the cortex happy, which is trying to make the limbic system happy. So I think we'll put even more computing power into trying to get laid, basically. Now the AI is going to help you get laid. It's like physics is the law and everything else is a recommendation. And if you go crazy and you don't, agree with physics, the rockets blow up, the cars don't work. Mm. So physics is a harsh judge. It's you get the engineering and the math right, or you don't, and it doesn't work if you don't. So you have to stay grounded in order for the technologies to actually work.
Supercut over. If you've got the time, please go check out the full interview available exclusively on Twitter. Clocks in at well over an hour, and it's awesome to see Zuby, who's a total G, have the opportunity to sit down with Elon Musk and discuss these topics in great detail. Another nail in the coffin of the fake news who hate you and hate humanity. Check out the link in the pinned comment to watch the full interview. See you tomorrow. Athletic Greens AG1 has given me a massive, meaningful boost in energy, allowing me to do a lot more every day, including using my brain more and using my body more. I highly recommend you guys and girls check it out. Athletic Greens AG1 is an excellent way to fill in nutritional gaps. It's got 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, plus prebiotics and probiotics and digestive enzymes and adaptogens to help you deal with stress. Plus, if you click the link in the pinned comment or head to drinkag1.com/SMR, you can get yourself a 1-year free supply of vitamin D3 and K2. But don't take my word for it. Here's what some of you guys and girls have to say. AG1 has changed my life. I was, as you described, treating myself like a circus, ate like trash, rarely exercised, used alcohol as a stress crutch, cannabis also, AG1 is what gave me the kick in the ass, got me back to the gym, motivated me to do more for myself, family, my business, etc. Keep doing what you do. Now, I know there's some skeptics, the same kind of people who think Elon Musk is a fraud, reading this going, what do you thought? There's no way that's possible, bro. It must be a placebo effect. Believe it or not, this is a recurring theme. If you give your body everything it needs to feel and perform its best, including having a lot more energy, you'll need ways to use that energy. For me personally, that includes more exercise, moving my body more social activity, and more cognitively demanding tasks, including producing a fuck ton of exclusive content over on Twitter and on Patreon, plus my daily YouTube uploads. The proof's in the pudding. On to another testimonial from a viewer of this channel. SMR, you asked me to provide feedback on AG1. Here it is. It has helped with mental acuity, stamina, and intestinal waste management. Can't read between the lines. Certainly helps with regularity and digestion. That's what the digestive enzymes are for. It has also dramatically reduced my cravings for sugar. You guys need to stop eating sugar. It's fucking poison. I'm 50, 5'9", and overweight, aka a fat motherfucker. I think that's a technical term for overweight, isn't it? Is it fat motherfucker or obese? I can't remember. I average 100 hours a week in the West Texas oil fields as a safety supervisor. Jesus Christ, dude. No wonder you're struggling to keep your weight under control. 100 hours a week. Brutal. It has helped me lose weight. It is not an appetite suppressant. It can help fat people suppress cravings, and motivation to be healthier is critical for changing your diet. Love you, brother. Again, this is a great point. It's something people really don't seem to grasp. If you have more energy, everything becomes easier. It's like turning on easy mode for life. A few years ago, before I was taking AG1, my health was trash. I was struggling to get through the day, had afternoon fatigue. The last thing I wanted to do was either use my brain or move my body. Didn't have the energy. Now, my biggest struggle every day is figuring out ways to use that energy. I'm exercising way more, doing a lot more with my friends and family, and of course, my work output has increased substantially. And you can fact check me. Check out the average length of my videos I was posting to YouTube 3 years ago. Need I say more? And one final testimonial. Love this one. Okay, here's the deal for me with this AG1 shit. I'm 41 years old and not the type to eat, drink, smoke, or sleep healthy, so I was skeptical. That being said, here's what I experienced. Day 1, meh. Day 2, afternoon fatigue was about 45 minutes late. Day 3, 0 afternoon fatigue. Day 4, 0 afternoon fatigue plus extra energy. Day 5, again, 0 afternoon fatigue plus energy, wondering, what the fuck, really? See, this is the thing, right? The results for many people are just almost too good to be true. This is the same experience I had. My afternoon fatigue just vanished out of nowhere. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Why am I not tired in the afternoons anymore? Surely, it's not that AG1 shit, is it? Turns out it was. Day 6 and 7, same thing. Day 8, same thing. Plus, I had the want to get things done around the house that I normally would slack off and not get done. Again, the point, extra energy, you'll need to use it, you'll find ways to use it. Day 9, 10, and 11, and today is day 12. I fucking love it. So however you managed to get me to buy it, I'm so glad you did. Thank you so much, SMR. It really changed me so far. Guys, this shit really works. Just try it. By the way, this is the reason I continue to relentlessly promote AG1. A lot of people get real fucking mad in the comments. Oh my God, Snake Oil Salmon's sold out. Oh my God, he's a scammer. This is fraud. But constantly, I'm pretty sure everyone making these comments is also currently short Tesla stock. I'm not particularly concerned about people having a negative perception, those folks suffering from small brain syndrome, still living in my bum's basement syndrome, etc., writing mean comments, claiming AG1's a scam or it doesn't work. I mean, bro, when I get feedback like this is what keeps me going. And remember, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. There's nothing to lose here. Just try this stuff for a month, and if you don't get these results, get your money back. See, it's a literal no-brainer. It's an IQ test at this point in time. Testimonial after testimonial after testimonial like this. Get your money back if it doesn't work. Just try it for a month, and if it doesn't work, get your money back. Today's the day. It's finally time. Be like this guy who was a massive skeptic, but finally, after 1,000 promotions in a row, caved in, tried AG1, and has results like this. Head to drinkag1.com/SMR or click the link in the pinned comment, and please, let me know how you're feeling in a few weeks' time. Now, if you'll excuse me, time to put my extra energy to good use. I'll be recording some more exclusive content for Patreon and my Twitter subscribers. So click the links in the pinned comment. See you over on Twitter and or Patreon, and don't forget to grab your AG1. Love ya.